Hello guys, Sapphire Yagame with a review of Rain Acts of War, episode 9 of the second season. Now within this episode is considered Rain's more controversial episode because of what happens to Mary within it. So we starting off with Mary suggests that Claude, who is Catholic, and Louis, who has converted to Protestantism, be wed as a symbol of interfaith relations. So Francis, she tells this to Francis, and Francis accepts this suggestion, but only so that it would distress Narcisse and trick him into revealing where he's hiding Montgomery, the last witness who knows that Francis killed Henry. Louis agrees to the games with Claude, but leaves a letter for Mary and quits the castle after the announcement. While Francis and Bash are away at killing Montgomery, a group of Protestant assassins sneak in a castle, and frustrated at being unable to find Francis, they come into Mary's room. They demand that she tell them who Francis is. She doesn't know what Francis is. So one of the dudes slaps her, pretty much slaps her to the ground, and he then proceeds to rape her. And so then once he's done, another dude decides to try to rape her, and Mary hits him over the head with something, and she escapes, and then goes to Catherine, and Catherine notices that Mary is sort of acting a little bit strange, and she asks her, was she raped? And Mary says that yes, she was. So Mary then comforts her and helps her hide the evidence and to present herself and to present a strong front to the people of France. So then we have Castleroy and Grill discover that their charity donations were used to fund the assassination attempt, and Narcisse then confides to Lola that he's shocked at the Protestants' desperation and regrets to have brought things this far. So within the episode, due to the fact that it is titled Acts of War, a lot of people was I didn't know. I mean, I read an article about this. People complaining that Rain was going to include a rape, but I thought it was probably referring to the episode in season 1 where Mary was almost raped, and then we learned that Catherine was raped, in her youth and everything. But apparently they did have Mary be raped within this episode, and not only that, but Mary was there was two attempts of trying to rape Mary in season 1. It was by Colin, who was paid by Catherine to try to ruin Mary's, virtue, so she wouldn't be able to wed Francis. Of course, the second one, it was attempt at raping Mary with the Italians, who was mad at Catherine and Henry for killing their son. So, they were going to rape not only Mary, but Lola and Greer and Kenna. And so in this episode, she actually does get raped, but the way they handled the rape situation, it was very tasteful. It wasn't too much. It was short, but it got the fact that this this was a tragic and traumatic episode in Mary's life. They got it across without being too much, because sometimes when people do add rapes into movies and stuff, it can be a little bit too much. Like with the episode of Private Practice with the blind female. There was a scene where she got raped. It was freaking brutal. For me, it was too much. I'm like, whoa. I was like, whoo, because the character of the rapist was played by Xander from the Brendan, who played Xander in the Buffy series, and since that scene, I cannot look at Xander the same way again, because I cannot take that scene off my mind every time I see him now when I'm rewatching Buffy on Netflix. I can't. He's not Xander anymore. It's But they handled it tastefully. And of course, I was looking at the Twitter feeds, and people like, oh my god. And of course, the people responding on the Facebook thing. Rain's Facebook page talking about, oh my god, they shouldn't include rape. Why you need rape to prolong the story? I'm like, one, I don't think they're using it to prolong the story, but apparently they already had it in the idea that rape was going to eventually happen. And given the fact that this episode is literally titled Acts of War, I'm not sure what people think goes on during war, but rapes do happen. You have soldiers going to other countries, bombing and shooting and killing the men, and rape is gonna be a product of that of that. I mean, you talking about from times of tribes by the tribes. I remember, especially during the fact that this is the 15th century. Men are the only ones who are deemed as protectors of women. Women, stay in their houses. Women go off to war. So if all the men, majority of your men are off to war, and then you have men invading your home or your country or whatever, and your women are literally there defenseless. So if you do have only a few men left, they're because you gotta think about it. Mary is in a big ass castle. You have assassins coming to get her. So the guard that you do have, they probably have to walk a certain perimeter. You know how you ever see, like, you go see a military base and you have the people, sort of standing there, then they'll walk like a few paces to one side, stop for a minute, then walk paces to the side. So you gotta think about, maybe the guards is doing their patrolling of the area of their their quadrant what's the booty they're supposed to be in. So at this point in time, they're not at Mary's door, guarding it. So yes, it's gonna be easy for assassins to come in and rape her. They could have went in and raped Catherine. They could have went in and raped Lola, Greer, or Claude, or whatever other female that was in, or any other female that was connected to Francis, which would be technically be Catherine, Lola, Claude, and of course his wife. They're mad at Francis. So what other way could these men hurt the King of France but by raping his wife? They could have killed his mama too and killed his baby if they really want to go even further with it, to actually hurt Francis. But it's an act of war, and and things like this do happen. I mean, even in our modern day society, women soldiers who are in the military get raped by their fellow male soldiers. It's like, I don't know why people don't think. I mean, is that situation? So the way Rain handled it, it was done. It wasn't too long. It was short, but you got the fact that it became a traumatic experience for Mary. Plain and simple. Now, I feel bad because Castleroy and Grill had just discovered that their donations were used to fund the assassination. And not only that, but the assassinations are just literally raped your queen. So it's like, so for Grill, when she eventually is eventually gonna find this out, it's probably gonna devastate her, because it was her money that helped cause Mary this trauma in her life. That's gonna be hard as a friend to think about. It's like, oh my God, you gotta think about that. And not only that, but Francis, since he's away, when he does when he does return, he's Mary tells Francis about what happened to her, and of course he feels bad, because he felt that if he was there instead of going, if he felt that if he was here instead of going after Montgomery, that maybe this would have happened to his wife. So it's all these emotions that's coming forth. And now we have Narcisse is realizing that, oh my God, these Protestants is so desperate that they're doing assassination attempts. They're killing their own people to create martyrs to propel the cause. He's like, oh crap, I didn't know it was going to be this far. What do you think people are going to do when they're backed into a corner? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're like, oh, okay, we give up? No, they're going to fight back. I don't know what Narcisse thought was going to happen. Anyway, comment, rate, subscribe on this episode of Rain. What is your thoughts on Mary's rape scenario within the episode? Do you think the show should have did it? Do you think the show shouldn't have done it? Pretty much what is your opinions on it? So just write them in the comments below, and tell me your thoughts. And I will see you guys again on January 22nd for Rain's return from his winter break.